second. Go ahead and taste your granny.
Give me a minute.
Get that balloon out your mouth before you suffocate yourself.
Mm-mm.
Crazy thing.
Mm.
Instead of sitting in the back, come on in.
Mm-hmm.
Become a JSV fam here. Subscribe and like. Turn notifications on. Come on in here. Talk to us. Hey, Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
18. If I use mine to do it, I'm going to lose where I'm at. There we go. New truck, much needed. There you go. Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's see here.
Let's see. Who was that first one? Kathy.
Kathy. Yeah.
Hey, Kathy. Sorry. I had a balloon in my mouth, for one. For two, I was getting comfortable. But hey.
Let's see here. Yeah. Hey, Pamela. Pamela says, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Always.
There's two or three of these things here now that I guess we've kicked heels about, and now it's coming on out. There's 9 on 3 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Keep it matched all the way. Hey, Lynn. How you doing, love? She's trying to tie herself together over here. Then she'll holler at everybody. I don't know what we're doing. Oh. So far, you're doing good. We hanging in there, love. I'm actually on the laptop. Hey, Sabina. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
I mentioned something about the boss, and next thing you know, like,
look what I got. I got a balloon.
I don't know why you're blowing them up now. We're gonna need them to. She wants it to make us
Yes, I do.
Us make a video of us throwing knives at them balloons, and she says she knows how to do it in slow motion.
Oh yeah.
And if she does one of them, we're gonna fill full of water, and we'll have to set a table or something out there, and we're gonna do it under that carport thing out here out back up again that back door, and might make for a good daggone video. I don't know. We'll see. Uh,
So if you're wondering what I'm doing this.
you know, but anyway, where's your granny?
I don't know. I texted her. She sent a thumbs up too, so I don't know.
So she got it.
No, she sent a thumbs up and okay. Alice, if you're one of those in the back watching, don't make me come over there.
There she is. I was waiting on
That's
you,
what I
love.
thought.
Now listen here. Now,
Only I can talk to her like that.
now look here. Lieutenant Phillips says, "Hey everybody." She ended up getting her another truck. You know, I've been on a rampage pretty much about people uploading junk that ain't true. And if this is 3 that is not, then we're okay. But if they are lies, I'm going to get quite cranky. This first one says, breaking news, leaked text exposed.
I pointed that one out.
And there was no missing to it. Second one, arrests are coming soon. Both parents. And then here's one from Daniel himself saying we planned it together. And matter of fact, the body that was found a couple days ago was indeed a little boy from around that area. So that one was not.
But it wasn't Jack, right?
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
But now here's something saying kids are alive. Breaking news. Malaya Brooks, whatever. I'm not looking at her picture. Anyway, they got it on here as worst mother ever. And
I do not blame him for that one.
Daniel's doing one of them best he can do, best cry he can put on, And
oh, you mean one of those fake cries?
And Malaya with a friend, out at the beach, having a good time. Somebody put on there, OMG, what the hell? Somebody's here.
Yeah.
Go in there and get all my stuff off that table real quick. Bring it in here. Don't make no loud steps. Hang on, guys. I know he heard it. Yeah, go ahead and answer.
Okay.
Is all these here? Yeah. They go thieves. You know what I mean? Tell them sorry I was on live. All right. there's a few here. Um, and like I said, I pray that they're not lying about it, because it's going to be something else. Young lunar. Um, so I don't really know which one to listen to first. Um, about the breaking news leak about the text exposed. Hey, everybody, again, I was threw off there for a second. Around here, you got to kind of put stuff up. Um, arrest coming soon for both parents. Um, and then from Daniel, uh, no drug sniffer dog went straight to something. I don't know what it was, but he he said that we planned it together. So that would have to be probably whatever his name was, Haywood, Everwood, or whatever. Probably all three, and whoever her other partner is, um, is facing to be arrested as well. Um, it would be tampering, plus tax, tampering with evidence uh, from something other said kids are alive, uh, and it's got a picture of their trailer with an arrow pointed out to the back. But that was now 2 days ago. Also, 2 days ago, come up that she is the worst mother ever. Uh, so I guess the best, I guess the best one is going to be a confession. Okay. Um, let's just see what it says.
No drug sniffer dogs went through the trailer. I asked police, told them, check it, but I wasn't allowed to be there when they did. That's the text. A single message, leaked, passed around like wildfire. And just like that, silence cracked open. It wasn't the RCMP who said it. It wasn't a statement through legal counsel. It wasn't a press conference. It was allegedly Daniel Martell, father figure, witness, and a man whose name has danced around suspicion since the first day Lilly.
Now remember, 2 days ago, his mama, Daniel's mama, refused to let anybody come in the trailer or the camper.
And Jack went missing, writing this to someone close. At first, it seemed like a plea for justice, a frustrated man demanding accountability. But within hours of the leak, the internet had a different read. Why mention drug dogs? Why bring up the trailer? And why wasn't he allowed to be there when it was searched? Theories exploded across TikTok and Reddit like pressure finally escaping a seal drum. Was this Daniel showing he had nothing to hide? Or was this subtle deflection dressed as transparency? One TikTok clip stitched with the quote over a slow zoom in of the family's rural home, pulled over 1.8 million views in 24 hours. The caption read, "He's either trying to clear his name or rewriting the story." The comments didn't hold back. "Sounds like he's laying the groundwork for an excuse," one user wrote. Another replied, "If you had nothing to hide, why mention the trailer at all?" Still, not everyone was so quick to cast blame. In the absence of official updates, some viewers interpret.
Ever see that's something I don't get right there, right off the top. I mean, yeah, I know now why they're saying they're apologizing. Authorities up there, they are apologizing to everyone, uh, and I mean to everyone. Uh, they didn't do it correct to start with. They didn't do it correct to start with. Every investigation I've ever heard of, they start in the home and then they work out. They don't just start which way you point. They start in the home. Okay. Well, they didn't do that. And then one day they finally let them come in. Everything was all right. And then 2 or 3 days ago, they asked to come back in there and go through the camper again. And she refused it, period. Um, so if it's not something leaked during that commotion time, then we're going to be hearing a bunch of nonsense or the same old thing we've been hearing. Only way that would make sense to have a leaked text would be for her or him say, "Hey, they're trying to come in the house or the camper. You know, what should we do?" And they might have got a response back. And if they got a response back, it would only be from one or three people: Durwood, her, or her partner. So if they don't mention nothing like that, then it's going to be just same old crap that we done heard.
Interpreted the message as a desperate attempt by Daniel to shift police focus elsewhere. One popular theory was that Daniel was suggesting the children might have been taken by someone else, and that the police were ignoring that possibility. But even the most sympathetic readers couldn't ignore what came next. Questions about the trailer. Not the main house, not the wooded property, but the trailer, a detail largely glossed over in official press briefings. Why focus on that? And then came the second wave of speculation, the surveillance footage. On May 1st, the day before Lily and Jack were reported missing, Daniel Martell, Malika Sullivan, and the two children were allegedly seen in New Glasgow. That's not speculation. That's based on an RCMP statement made weeks ago. But the footage itself, still unreleased. And that absence has left a vacuum.
Because
a space that speculation eagerly fills.
There was no footage.
What store were they visiting? Why was it the last time they were seen together? What happened after that moment, caught in silent pixels? In some circles, the theory goes like this. Something happened in or after that May 1st trip. Others believe the footage will show nothing suspicious. Just a normal family going about a normal day, hours before everything unraveled. But in either case, the leak added fuel to a growing fire. Meanwhile, Daniel's own silence since the leaked message has only deepened the divide. Some people say he's being advised to stop speaking publicly. Others wonder if he knows something he hasn't shared and maybe can't. It's worth noting, there is still no confirmation from police that Daniel authored the message. The text has not been publicly authenticated, but it has been widely accepted as real, especially by online communities closely following the case. Why?
Then why
Because
would it be edited on the thumbnail? Breaking news: leaked Texas exposed.
The phrasing matches Daniel's past interviews because it mentions details that only someone close to the investigation would know. And because, true or not, it feels like something he'd say. And that may be the most chilling part. Perception is everything in a case with no proof, no arrests, and no children. So now, the question hangs in the air. Was this text a cry for justice, or a quiet confession buried under defensiveness? As of now, RCMP has not commented on the leak. They haven't confirmed, denied, or acknowledged it. But the public pressure is building. More people are asking about the trailer. More are asking for the footage. And more are beginning to doubt the version of events presented in those early press briefings. And through it all, two small faces remain missing. Two names that never should have been forgotten. Lilly, Jack, and one line, still echoing through group chats, video captions, and Reddit threads. I told them, check it, but did they? And if they did, what did they find? In most missing persons cases, people stay quiet. Lawyers advise silence. Emotions stay behind doors. Public statements, if any, are brief, careful, and tightly controlled. But Daniel Martel, he talked. He volunteered for a polygraph test. He offered a drug test. And he's repeated one line again and again. I gave them all the information they needed.
I'm just
To
hanging
some,
in there. Look,
that was refreshing. It felt like transparency, rare, even admirable. In his first interviews, Daniel seemed willing to cooperate with law enforcement at every level. When reporters asked whether he had spoken to RCMP, he confirmed yes, multiple times. And when questioned online about whether he had taken a polygraph, he didn't dodge, he doubled down. According to Daniel, not only did he offer it, but he wanted it. That's not typical behavior. Polygraphs aren't admissible in Canadian courts, and in many investigations, police don't even recommend them. But Daniel allegedly pushed for one, a move that drew both admiration and suspicion. Because here's the paradox. Sometimes when you insist you have nothing to hide, people start to think you do. Public opinion split fast. In online threads, two camps formed. One said, "This man is doing everything right. What more do you want from him?" The other asked, "Why is he trying so hard to look innocent?" The tension only deepened when Daniel appeared in interviews and live streams, claiming RCMP had access to everything. Phone records, social accounts, devices. He described them combing through footage, canvassing neighbors, and interviewing everyone connected to the case. He included himself in that list. "They have my phone. They have all the footage, everything they need." He said it with conviction, and still no charges, no suspects, no arrests, and most importantly, no children. The RCMP has been consistent. Daniel is not a suspect. He is one of 35 people interviewed since May 2nd.
let me remind you the title of that video. Breaking news. Leaked text exposed. We planned it together. And see, all they doing is just changing the words up a little bit. It's the same junk we done been hearing. See, that's what I'm talking about. If you don't have no facts, don't say nothing, period.
He's on the record, and he hasn't been charged with anything. But public doubt, that doesn't require a charge sheet. His proximity to the case alone, being the last adult to reportedly see Lilly and Jack Sullivan, has
Yeah.
kept his name at the center of speculation. Some question his relationship with Malia. Others wonder about the timeline. A few scrutinize his tone, his body language, even the pitch of his voice in early interviews. And still more return to the trailer. Always the trailer, wondering what police saw or missed. Every statement he makes is analyzed. Every silence is louder. There are moments when Daniel appears genuinely frustrated, exhausted by the scrutiny, the endless theories, the unrelenting pressure from strangers who've never met him. And in those moments, it's easy to imagine the other possibility that this man is telling the truth, that he's cooperating, that he's grieving. But in this case, truth and suspicion walk hand in hand. Because transparency, no matter how honest it seems, doesn't erase shadows. Not when the children are still missing. Not when no one knows what happened between May 1st and May 2nd. Not when Daniel is, whether by choice or not, the man in the middle.
Nothing happened during that time because it all happened a week prior to it. That's why they can't get nothing up. Christina. Christina.
Yes, but
Just pour some coffee. Just a little bit. Just warm it up, please.
I don't know. You owe me a kiss later.
Yeah, I will. You ain't
Correction,
got that.
you owe me 10 later. You
Well, you
owe me
ain't got-
10 kisses later.
You just warm up my coffee.
You owe me 10 kisses later.
I'm gonna knock you
I'm
out.
gonna knock you out. Think I won't, little boy.
I guess I set her straight, didn't I? See, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. With him saying stuff. Hey, Jillian, how you doing now? With him putting out titles like that. Hey, babe. Saying, the babies are fine, they're alive, and everything that we've done talked about a million times. And they keep throwing stuff like this up, leaked text. Whoever's doing the voiceover still has not told what the text is. The only thing he said is they were a text, but it never got out to the public. So why in the world mention it if you can't hear or see what the daggum text was? I mean, it's right kind of stupid if you ask me. So I guess we'll go on down to the next. It says, let's see, which one was it? 2 days ago. It says she left.
If you have an old roof and you're tired of trying short-term fixes that are just a band-aid on the real issue, you need a new roof, and right now, Darren is a second cousin of Malaya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, a connection publicly confirmed by Belinda Gray, the children's biological grandmother. But bloodlines alone don't explain Darren's involvement. It's what he claims to know, and who he claims to have heard it from, that has turned him from a concerned relative into a controversial whistleblower. Professionally, Darren brings decades of grounded blue-collar experience to the table. With over 30 years in the mining industry across Nova Scotia, he's a man who knows the land, not just its soil and rock, but its social terrain. The kind of man who understands how communities here work, where they bend, and where they break. He's made it clear that he's not just another outsider speculating on a missing persons case. He's from this place. He understands its nuances, the backroads, the family feuds, the quiet loyalties, and the way certain stories never make it into official reports. His voice carries a kind of weight you can't fake. It's the weight of a man who believes what he's saying because, in his words, I've corroborated it with other people.
Exactly.
Darren's connection to the
Just
case
similar
deepens
and
further
heat
through his
it
son,
up.
who once worked directly alongside Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather. This proximity, Darren says, gave him more than just gossip or hearsay. It gave him insight, a window into the character and behaviors of someone at the center of the storm. But even more startling,
everything that Big Nose there says, Darren, Darwood, whatever his dumb name is, when speaking with the children, said that they did know of him. He was his mom's friend, or their mom's friend. I asked, did he drop your mom off uh, with y'all still in the vehicle? They said yes, and they said killed, the word killed, and then them, I did, and then pillow again, and little soft female voice said, I asked where, or could they explain to me where they are? Inside of, and then it sounded to me like something like a tank or something. And that's when I asked about the friend, and he said, yeah, that was mom's friend. Remember, they said they seen her stand on the side of the road, but they were there to just apparently to get rid of, could have been getting rid of the evidence. Only evidence to get rid of would be the children. That's the only thing this case is about.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to watch it. She didn't want to hear nothing about it.
And hey, everybody, by the way, I saw there was a new one on that I didn't recognize the name of, so figured I'd say hey.
Who, Victoria? And Jillian?
I just know one of them looked like.
What you been doing all day?
Sleeping?
Sleeping? Well, at least she's doing something.
I've had a earache all day.
Earache.
Yep. I heard taking that. I've been taking antibiotics. So
Oh.
I guess I might be sleepy.
Probably. I don't. The only part that I do believe out of this, hey Judy, out of this whole deal is the one right then when it said that both parents will soon be arrested. So apparently, not put out to the public yet, but apparently they have caught Malaya. I don't doubt I don't doubt it very much. Now, Daniel, he's going to try to stand firm. He will. But Malaya, she won't. If they try to pin her up, like I said, she's the type of person, she would take her own life. So we don't need that to happen. We need to keep her aggravated just enough to get enough out of her to find out exactly where the children is. Because if she does something like that, Daniel will never tell the truth. Even if it means costing him his life. And then people up there and authorities best know that she means business. It wouldn't take her 2 seconds to just do it. She's already off a rocker. She's probably supposed to be on that bipolar stuff and everything else she's on, was supposed to be on. And she's not. She's not been doing none of it. So, here you go.
Than his family ties or local insights is the claim that Darren has made repeatedly. He knows what happened to the kids, or at least he knows someone who does. According to Darren, the key to the mystery lies with a confidential insider, someone who, in Darren's own words, knows the story from front to back. This isn't someone who caught whispers or rumors. This is someone, Darren insists, who was close enough to the events to see them unfold. The sort.
Who do you reckon that was? I bet anything on it. That what happened in the trailer, that's where it happened at. I believe after the fact, I believe that what started it all was Daniel got pissed off about it. They was probably hollering and screaming, carrying on. And she was probably out there whining around out in the yard like some kind of wild turkey. And his mom probably heard them arguing. And probably come running out saying, "What did you do? What happened?" And I guarantee you, she knows. She's seen it. I bet she went in to check them babies to see if they were okay or if they were not. So that's the one that would know the story inside and out other than Daniel and Malaya. Yeah, well, he's barking up their own tree. Oh, I got Scotty over here and Christine on this side. All right, well, Christine on this.
I'm on this side.
I got people over here.
I'm here.
Damn it!
You mean darn it?
It's a mirror reflect, you know.
Yeah, you ain't used to having two different people.
I ain't used to not having sugar in my coffee neither, but I ain't grabbing about that. Am I?
Yeah,
Hey,
you're
these women nowadays, look, you got
excuse you.
listen. You got to put the line down to start with, and you took the bait, didn't you? Don't you dare!
I would take it off of you and smack you with it. Think I won't.
I'm telling you, you gonna get it. Put my Duck Dynasty down.
Here's your ashtray.
He getting whipped with a hat.
Put my Duck Dynasty back.
Whack.
You gonna think whack in a minute? I said put my hat back. I put it back.
Fine.
Don't fool with my Duck Dynasty.
Touch.
Find something else to fool with.
Don't touch his hat. He got that one on. That means he can't tell me not to use this one then.
That one, I'll probably put it in something to keep it. Put my hat back. I'm in to get her.
I'm fixing to get him.
And I know some pretty good pranks that will embarrass the piss out of her.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, and I know a few things too that we talked about. She said for me not to tell nobody.
Don't make me hit you.
Put my hat back.
I will hit you with a freaking frying
I'm
skillet.
counting to 3. 1. That's what I thought.
I can still smack you.
I still wear the pants in this outfit.
And I'll still keep hitting you.
Everybody says, "Hey, Christina's got it."
Hey.
Yeah, they're not going to try to tell it straight out like it's supposed to be. If they was, they would have done it. If they was footage of the children healthy and alive and doing well, you know doggone well that had been broadcast all around the nation. But that has not yet happened. So
You still got that ladder? Or did you leave in there? Left it there?
let's see.
I got a ladder. We are glad you got
What?
Well, I actually got shorts on.
Oh my god.
Source, whose identity Darren refuses to reveal, is described as ironclad, rock solid, unshakably credible. And while that kind of unwavering faith in an anonymous source would normally be dismissed as reckless, Darren says he's verified the claims through multiple other channels. He's double-checked, he's asked around, and every time the pieces lined up. He won't name the source unless the information turns out to be.
You can't get no truth out of any of these other people, channels or nothing else, because they're not going straight to the source. Yeah, you're right, Tonya. Like I said, it's simple. Either show footage that these children are alive and well, or either keep your dadgum mouth shut. Quit posting it. I mean, I guess what sets me different than other people is I get my info from the source. I listen to what they got to say until they start chasing tail again, like a broken record. But I'd rather hear from the source and see if it adds up to anything that they do say. But I do not like someone to lie on the deceased. I don't like nobody lying on children. They can't protect themselves, verbally or physically. So every time somebody uploads something without validation, you're not making yourself look too good, even though you think you are. These babies deserve true, real facts.
Wrong. A condition that has raised eyebrows and suspicions, but to Darren is a matter of protection. He believes this person is still at risk and is not willing to sacrifice their safety for public validation. But the weight of what Darren has said, publicly and without hesitation, is staggering.
If you have an EBT card, you're leaving money on the table if you skip this under the 2025 auto saving.
Staggering. He doesn't believe this was a tragic accident. He doesn't believe Jack and Lily simply wandered off or were taken without planning. According to Darren, the truth is far more calculated and far more disturbing. He claims that Malaya, the children's mother,
if he knows that, and he knows that it's much more gory, pretty much say, why don't you go ahead and tell it? Why don't you show footage? Why don't you snap a photo? I may joke around with this and that and other, but I'm telling you, some of these nuts up there are so stupid they have to wear strap-on shoes because they don't know how to tie their own shoes. That's just how stupid some people can be. What?
Orchestrated their disappearance, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Not in secret, but in the open, at least to a small group of insiders. Darren says that Malaya personally placed her children into a vehicle driven by someone she trusted. That vehicle and the children inside it vanished not long after. It wasn't an abduction, Darren.
What did I say? What did I say? If she put them children inside that vehicle, that is not kidnap. Now, we just talked about this earlier today. And Big Nose, Durwood, is the one that took Malaya and dropped her off the side of the road when he went and disposed of the evidence. Now, they can't nobody tell me that it played out any different. because he's already admitted to it, that he was the last one that seen them children. A woman on here the other day made a comment, said he never said he seen them children. The heck he didn't. So I showed her a magic trick. So I'll just tell you right now, if them babies were fine, we would all know it. It would go public around the world.
Argues it was an escape, a coordinated handoff. What triggered the escape, Darren claims, was a carefully orchestrated test. He had engineered a moment, a conversation staged for the right ears, where a suspicious name was mentioned. Just 30 minutes later, Malaya panicked.
Like his mom, her name. Yeah. I mean, how dumb do they think? Surely they can't think everybody's dumb as that, but I mean, we might be a little slow, but we're not stupid either.
She fled her mother's house in Wentworth, taking her youngest child, Meadow, with her. Darren saw this as a turning point, a smoking gun. The timing was too perfect to ignore. To him, this reaction wasn't guilt or fear of being misunderstood. It was the reaction of someone who believed they were about to be caught, and so she ran.
How much more do you need to say? How many times do we need to close this case? He just said it. She's going to get her ass out of here before she gets it caught. He just said so. People need to stop listening to what people say and start listening to how they say it. Somebody could say a paragraph, and you could take this person and probably couldn't change it into anything. But if you sit and listen to how it's being said, then you could split the difference. You could split the hairs, who was guilty and who was innocent.
More than just running, Darren believes Malaya had a destination in mind. He pointed toward the Shuanacity First Nation, a location known for its complex legal frameworks and culture.
And he said out of his own mouth, if that reservation could have got, now this was his plain words, if that plantation reservation could have gotten to them children while they were alive, they could have kept them in secret and kept them well and let them grow up. Now that's the very words he said out of his own mouth. If the reservation could have got the children while alive, they could have kept them hid from the public and they would have been fine. How many more times does somebody have to tell on themselves?
Apparently a lot.
They think this is a joke around here. They're not taking it serious enough. People like that nut job. People in prison ain't gonna like that one little bit. And Daniel sure not. What was that song? Don't drop the soap.
Oh God.
You use a rope.
Oh my God.
Use a rope around your neck. Or what was that? Something about tie your soap around your neck.
What
or
the
something.
crap, man?
Yeah.
What?
Well, in prison, you get caught doing it. They hear that you've done something to a child. 9 times out of 10, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
And there's something about, remember, something about,
Oh, don't drop the soap.
Yeah, but it's something about
tie it around your neck so you won't drop it.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah.
Somebody
That's
come up with
actually
that.
pretty smart though.
Yeah. I can't remember now who said that, but that feller.
Something might as well just go on gas starter.
Yeah. Well, they both better go in with 2 pocketfuls of Vaseline.
Oh my
And go ahead and
God.
get it ready. Because them nut jobs will get it for sure. When you hurt a child, even the meanest of the mean,
Oh yeah.
when you hurt a child,
Especially if you.
Scott,
Scott,
let me tell you something that broke my heart the day before yesterday. It's probably been a little while, but it popped up. Said 33 or 34-year-old man raped a 2-year-old baby to death, and it died.
Yeah.
To death.
That's it.
I think anybody that does that right there should be taken back around the courthouse.
I think it should be killed.
That's
The
literally
same
what
way-
I just said, just
The
around the
same
courthouse
way
that
that
way.
the kid got killed.
I think they cut down the hanging trees too soon, in my opinion. But that'd be too easy for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna throw them all under the bus. They already are. He's already throwing Jack and Daniel and her under the bus, and I guarantee you his motive behind that is she turned him down for something. I bet you he's a creep. I guarantee you. And when she refused, then he already knew everything. He knows what to say and who to say it to. And now she's on the run because she ain't gonna do nothing with him, and she knows he's gonna tell on her. She ain't got the babies anymore, either one of them, and never will have. I don't get it.
Cultural protections. What made this destination even more suspicious to Darren was that Malaya's lawyer, he says, is the brother of the chief of that very reserve. This connection could, in theory, offer legal cover, sanctuary, or at least a buffer between her and Canadian authorities. And if she made it there, Darren suggests, retrieving the children would become a bureaucratic nightmare. Not because anyone is trying to hurt the children, but because tribal sovereignty often clashes with external enforcement. What fuels Darren's conviction isn't just whispers or theories, it's testimony from people who were there. Perhaps the most haunting of these is the account from Janie, the stepmother of Daniel Martel. On the morning the children vanished, Janie said she saw Malaya standing alone on a rural road near Daniel's property. At that hour, no one should have been there, not unless they had a reason.
Wonder what that reason was, guys. Anybody take a wild guess? I'd say waiting on somebody to get rid of some evidence from me. That's my final answer. We need to play Who Wants to Be
Janie
Millionaire.
described
I'm out with
Malaya's
him.
expression as frightened, pale, unsettled, like someone who had just done something serious and didn't want to be seen. For Darren, this
who just did something terrible and just don't want to see it. How much more plainer can you get?
wasn't just an odd sighting, it was a breadcrumb. He believes this was the moment the children were handed off. That Malaya.
There you go. There you go. In that 4-page note, they plainly said she didn't want to see or hear us anymore. The last thing the kids said I guess they got their wish. We're not here anymore. Bless you, love.
Yeah, driven by some mix of fear and desperation, watched the vehicle carrying her children disappear into the woods, down a dirt road, or maybe over a border. Darren didn't just stop at the sighting. He pushed the story forward, layer by layer, filling in details that others had either missed or ignored. He repeated again and again, with growing urgency, that this was not a case of death, abandonment, or accident. I believe 1,000%
I guess not. Everything done took place.
that those kids are alive, he said, and not once, but many times. It was the one point on which he never wavered. In Darren's mind, Jack and Lily are not lost. They are being protected. Hidden, yes. Removed from their former life, absolutely.
Oh,
But not harmed, not discarded,
wow.
not gone. Instead, he describes a carefully chosen refuge, a place where the children.
Well, now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's get our ducks in a row. Now, last week, okay, they were seen up in New York. All right. About 3 days ago, could be going across the border to come over here in the United States. Okay. And then could be wherever that place is, they said. So nothing that this man says makes sense. They will not cover for her. And she didn't even give birth on that res. It would have to be instated just like we are here in America. We got a birth certificate. They have to have a stamped uh, 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 what's that called? Where they stamp it? A notary over there in the res. They have to be done that way. It's totally different, but kind of the same. But a lot of it's just different, but more strict in a reservation. Yeah, yeah. So, good and doggone well, if anybody's seen these children, like I said, it'd been all over the news everywhere. It's a bunch of lies.
Are with people who know exactly what's at stake and who have made the deliberate choice to shield them from legal consequences, emotional damage, and the public eye. That's where.
What damage? What harmful issues did they do? And he just said they could have kept anyone from knowing. Talking about the res, could keep people from knowing what harmful things she's done. And all this rigmarole. No, it don't work like that.
Darren's theory becomes more than just a story. It becomes an indictment of the system itself. He believes that the reason the children haven't been found is not because the authorities can't find them, but because they're looking in the wrong places. And they're looking with the wrong mindset. If the children are, as Darren believes, living within or adjacent to a First Nations community, the standard tools of investigation simply don't apply. These communities have their own laws, their own jurisdictional agreements, and their own reasons for mistrusting outside law enforcement. The result, Darren says, is a kind of legal fog, a space where the children could be shielded, not necessarily by people trying to commit crimes, but by those who believe they're doing the right thing, protecting the children from further trauma, protecting their mother from a system she no longer trusts, or protecting their own from intrusion. Darren's view of Malaya herself complicates the picture. He doesn't see her as a mastermind or a manipulator. Instead, he speaks of her with a mix of pity, frustration, and sympathy. She's not dangerous, he insists. She's scared. She's overwhelmed. She's damaged. In several live streams and interviews, Darren openly speculated that Malaya may be suffering from serious psychological conditions, postpartum depression, PTSD, or both. Her past.
I got both of them, and I'm sitting here doing all right. Some days is rougher than others, but I don't go and do junk like that. Yeah.
Especially her relationship with the children's biological father, Cody, is framed as a period of sustained emotional damage. According to Darren, that trauma didn't fade after the breakup. It lingered. It grew. And when the stress of custody battles, CPS involvement, and personal instability piled on top, she broke. That, to Darren, is the real explanation. Not a conspiracy, not a kidnapping, but a collapse. What's even more striking is how Darren speaks about the people who helped her, because in his version of events, she didn't act alone. Malaya.
She didn't act alone. I know that she didn't do both of them at the same time. Couldn't have. They would have fought. At least tried.
Had support, and not from hardened criminals or calculated planners, from girls, young women around her age, maybe friends, maybe cousins, maybe something in between. Darren calls them semi-related, suggesting a kind of blended kinship, linked by heritage, shared trauma, or community. He says these girls,
the two that were hidden in the back last night,
weren't masterminds either. They were loyal, scared, acting on impulse, reacting emotionally, not thinking through the consequences. He paints a vivid picture, a circle of young women drawn together by friendship and fear, a sort of sisterhood, not built on strategy, but on mutual panic. They weren't dangerous. They were just girls trying to help a friend who believed, maybe rightly, maybe not, that she and her children were in danger. A friend who said she couldn't take it anymore. A friend who, when the pressure built too high, asked them to help her vanish. But good intentions, Darren reminds, don't equal good judgment. The group didn't go to the authorities. They didn't seek legal aid. They didn't plan for long-term safety. They acted quickly, sloppily, chaotically. They acted out of fear. And once the wheels were in motion, there was no turning back. Once the handoff happened, once the car disappeared, once Malaya went off the grid, there was no way to undo it. And now, weeks, even months later, everyone is left trying to trace the steps backwards, but the trail is old, the connections are blurred, and the children are still missing. One of the more alarming aspects of Darren's story comes when he begins to speculate that Jack and Lily may no longer even be in Canada. He brings up a location, Plattsburgh, New York.
Here's how to never have to worry about money after a car accident. Listen, if you have been in a car accident.
New York. Not just any random border point, but a place with plausible access, discrete routes, and a clear path away from Nova Scotia. He doesn't say this to provoke fear. He says it because in his mind, it's the only way the timeline makes sense.
If anybody listens to his mind and opinions, you got to be off your rocker too. He's just put himself in a bad situation all the way around.
If the children were handed off that morning, and if Malaya panicked just minutes after a staged conversation leaked information she didn't expect to hear, then the urgency of that escape suggests planning. Not random, not improvised, prepared. What makes Darren's theory more than just conjecture is a detail shared in passing by Daniel Martel, the children's stepfather. On a live stream, Daniel recalled that when Malaya fled, she asked for only a few things: the children's birth certificates, a couple of school photos, and 2 stuffed animals. Nothing else. Not clothes, not documents, not money. Just these deeply personal, symbolic items. According to Darren, this request is not a coincidence. It's preparation. The kind of items someone might take if they were leaving for good, not just running away, but starting over. Somewhere new, somewhere far, possibly somewhere unreachable. If true, that changes everything. It means that from the very beginning, this wasn't an emotional outburst. It was an exit, a calculated, desperate bid to remove the children from a situation Malaya could no longer endure. And if Darren is right, it may have worked. The children may be far from Nova Scotia, sheltered, hidden, and carefully protected in a place where no one can reach them. Still, for all his conviction, Darren knows what he's saying is hard to swallow. He knows that without names, without dates, without physical proof, his theory is just that, a theory. He offers it as something more, but the burden of proof remains. And the public, understandably, wants more than just a man's belief. They want evidence. They want timelines. They want to know who this ironclad source is. They want to know why Darren waited. Why now? He doesn't offer easy answers.
I got another questions in mind that I've not spoke of yet. You know, she's not had nothing to do with Daniel in a long time. And she said that night, she was working late. She had her partner to stay over. Well, I'm wondering if that partner was from that reservation.
Might have been.
If that partner was from that reservation, he would have told her right off the front, you can't bring them kids over here.
Maybe that's what he did. And that's what got her upset into the kids missing.
And maybe Meadow did have some file proof from over there.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And if that's the case, then that set it off. That set off the chain of events right there.
It could have.
Because everything happened in the house. And then, like I said, they carried them, put them in the car, went so far, and Malaya got out when he went and discarded of the evidence. And then was seen coming back to her place. But even though the neighbor said that they seen her get out of the vehicle, but the only footage that they gave them out of that trail cam was a week before and a week after. Just so happens she don't have the footage for that night. It's because it didn't happen that night. These children got done this way a week before this was ever even mentioned to authorities. Well, the reservation that my kinfolk is on, if they are not more than half-blooded, they're not welcome. I don't know how all reservations work, but I do know Cherokee. And White Buffalo is chief there. And the child has to be at least half-blooded to be there. But now this is that they got on here, I don't know. They all got their own little law deals. But a lot of these things that they're putting up for people to click on to watch is clickbait. Probably is. you know, either way, I mean, they're fixing to go down, and that'll give them the opportunity to either confess, or that's the end of it. If they can't give what's needed to be said, then I mean they'll rot in a cell somewhere. I mean, at the very least, they can get it for neglect. But if we can find where they was talking about them teeth, in children's teeth and bone out of that well, I don't understand why they ain't done talked about that, unless authorities have already got it and are doing the DNA testing and all that stuff on it now, and just not putting it out to the public yet of who it is. Was you in South Carolina or North Carolina? Your sister? Because there's 3 Cherokee reservations. 1, Colorado. 2, North Carolina. 3, South Carolina. North Carolina? Well, I don't know about that. Now you can go, like, if you go into like Pigeon Forge and stuff, and stop at what you call it building, information building. You can purchase these little cards that can get you in the res. But you only have so long you can be in there, and you got to be back out. They're living there. Well, like I said, now I don't know how all work. I have no idea. They all got their own laws, and if she's got a lawyer in that place, then a state judge is the only one going to be able to override anything. They do down here on the other side of Tyler, but it's not like a big res like you see Cherokee in. I don't either, Joni. I have no idea. Last time I was even out there, I was a kid. Mother, she was full blooded. So I don't know, but only one that could trump anything like that would be a state judge. I just don't know. Yeah, you can go up there and stop at that tourist information place, that log cabin thing, and get one of them cards, so you can go up there and stay so long, then you got to get out. That's in North Carolina. Okay. I know there's one of them. But I probably wasn't, but 7, 8 year old when we went. Oh, man. Well, guys, none of these things is working. They're throwing up thumbnails to get people to watch, and it's just telling the same junk again. Really? My goodness. Lord have mercy. Well, guys, I guess tomorrow we'll start another session with just Jack and Lily, and just avoid any of them updates, because 5 feet wasn't big. My goodness. Yeah. We'll just go straight into talking with Jack and Lily and go from there. And try to just avoid any of the updates because, like I said, they're just using good thumbnails with titles to get people to watch. And like you seen again, it's just rehearsing what we already know. So, yeah, y'all have a good night. I love y'all. Keep an eye on your devices, and I will see you tomorrow.
Sweet dreams. Did you wave?